Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5 and Fiori training. In the last session in SAP UI5, we given a close to our last phase of SAP UI5 training, which is creating OData services. In today's session, we will just quickly see how to consume these OData services as part of our UI5 and Fiori application. And then we will also look at the concept of paging with SAP UI5. So let's get started with a new quick project. I'm going to create a very simple project. In fact, I'm going to use our fruit model project, which we created the other day. So I go to my first Fiori application. So this is our fruit project, which we had created by far. In this project, we have all the necessary files, including component.js, manifest, router, root match handler, all the views, controllers, formatters, fragments, custom controls, and everything. I'm going to connect this code for this piece of project now with our OData service which we created the other day. As part of OData service, let me just quickly show you once again the OData service which we created, set October OData SRV, product set entity set, just to call this OData service. And you can see it's providing now me the data. I just quickly also switch to the JSON viewer plugin. The issue for catalog services is still not solved. We have created a ticket to SAP yesterday, and hopefully we'll get a response 1 or 2 days from SAP. So please hold on. The catalog service in our current auditor server is not working. So you got to wait a little bit until that ticket gets closed. So I'm tracking the ticket every day. As and when I have an update, I will reply back to you guys. So let me just quickly add this plugin to make sure that we can see the data properly. Okay, I've added it, and let me refresh now. It's not showing me the response. Just open a new window. Okay, it's not still showing. Okay, anyway, now instead of these products, what you see, I'm going to link it with the actual product what we have from our OData service. So this is our OData service response, where we are getting data about the products, and just do it in XML format. Maybe just to show you, see, these are all the properties we have. So now what we will do is we will just go ahead and first connect to our OData service, how to do that manually. So one thing option is you can use the template and it gets connected to the OData pretty easily. But suppose if you don't want to use template, you want to do everything manually, you can go ahead and do that manually as well. So now I can come back. The very first thing I have to do is create a new app JSON. You can see, guys, the new app JSON got created automatically as part of my project the other day. And now it's right now empty. In this new app JSON, the first thing which I can decide is I can go ahead and put entity about connecting to my destination. So any OData service which you see in SAP system, any OData service, it always starts with this prefix /SAP/OPU/OData. So now what I'm going to tell the new app JSON, however, will help SAP Web IDE to communicate to any external entity or any external system. So what I'm telling here to my new app JSON. So this is your SAP Web IDE. SAP Web IDE then also comes with some pre-built services to offer SAP UI5 framework, which includes SAP Core.js. Then you have also created a destination as part of your local folder. So these are all external entities, external things. Now to communicate between your project, which is there in Web IDE, to these external entities, you must need a file called new app.json. This file will tell whenever you're running a resource and consuming an external resource, this file will tell your project where to pick that resource from. So if you see, we are talking to SAP Auditor Service. In that case, we have to somehow configure NeoApp.json to be able to talk to this local destination. So now you may have multiple local destination. You can connect to any local destination by just configuring NeoApp.json. Suppose you have one destination for development, one for production, one for quality. Three destination you created in local folder. Using new app JSON, this is a configuration file. With the help of this, at any time you can change small configuration and then it can connect to quality, production or development anytime. So what is that configuration? We have to define in the JSON format in new app JSON file. So let's come back. Now for reference, what you can always do is go back to any standard generated Fury application which you would have generated, and in that you can check the new app JSON. So you see, this is how it should look like. This is how the new app JSON structure looks like. So it's always a good practice to refer this one and then accordingly write it. So you can see there is a roots. Inside the roots, we are telling the path. What is the path? Then we are telling the target. Root. Inside the root, we are telling path, target, and description. So let's come back. I can say roots, and then there are multiple routes which we can create like this. I'm creating only one route at this time, connecting to my destination, which is in my local computer. And then inside this route, you can add path, target, and description, three properties. Let's do that right now. This is not available in a graphical editing mode. The way manifest is there, it is not available in graphical editing mode. So only you have to write the code. So you have to say path, target, and description. That's it. The description is my connection to gateway. Path should be slash sap slash pu slash odata. Anything which is starting with this path, my application talking to any OData service, please redirect, please add this as a proxy. This will be the endpoint. This will be the point. Through the help of that, it should redirect the call. So basically, my destination which I created in local system comes into the picture if somebody is trying to make a call to OData service. Inside the target, then we have properties like type, name, entry path, and version. So version is only required if you're referring SAP UI5 version locally, then only the version is required. Otherwise, type, name, and entry path, three things are sufficient. So let's put type, name, entry path. And now I just give the name. NS4 is my destination, which is their local system. Type is it's a destination, and entry path is again slash SAP OPU OData. That's it. This is the configuration we just have to define one time. And now here I'm telling this is my system. Suppose tomorrow the same Fury app you want to run with quality. You just have to come here and change this to QTY system. Borrow the same app you want to run from WebID to the production system. So now you just say PRD, right? It's so easy. You have three destinations in your local system. Just come here and change the name of the destination. It will connect to the different systems. Now, next, another interesting thing. You remember we referring so far the UI5 framework from Bootstrap from CDN. Sometimes, let's say CDN is down or you don't have internet connection. What will happen? SAP UI5 framework won't load. So, as I mentioned, SAP UI5 comes, SAP WebID, which is this one, local edition, comes with pre-built SAP UI5 framework. You can actually refer that local SAP UI5 bootstrap to be able to load UI5 if you don't have internet connectivity. Okay. So what you can do is you can use this one, this entry path, as you can see here, this entry path. If anything starting with slash resources, please point it to this. Yeah, this is what it is telling. Let me just bring in that code. And now watch out the path, what it says. It says anything referring to slash resources, please call this service called SAP UI5 and load SAP UI5 version 1.44 from local. From local, guys, this is what it is doing. this slash resources. Now you go back to index HTML and just remove this whole gentleman. Your project will still load. Why? Because what we are doing now, our path is starting with slash resources. When it is making a call, when it is trying to load src, it's trying to look forward for the bootstrap system, will first check new app json. In new app json, it checks, do I match a path? Yes, I match a path. Then I have to load ui5 from local system, from local web ide. This is what it does. This is the starting path. This is what is deciding how to load things up. Save this. We are done. Let's quickly test it. It's a big change. So now it's always important to go and refresh and test. Now you will see it should load. Voila, congratulations. Control Alt Shift P. Check version of UI5 is 1.44. It's been loaded from local computer. You don't need any internet connectivity anymore. When you're traveling, you're sitting into a cab, bus, train, or a flight. You don't have internet connectivity there. You want to work on SAP UI5 project with Web IDE, use this option. Connect it using local service provided within the Web IDE. It comes free of cost with the Web IDE. Okay, just connect it from local. You don't need to refer CDN for local testing. You can also test it by changing the versions quickly over there. Okay, so that's the beauty, guys, of it. Now let's come back. Yes, you will have all the libraries in it. All the libraries are there in it. All the libraries are there in it. No problem. Everything will work as it was working from CDN. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Please, your question, Murli. Who was that?
Uh, yeah, no, this, we are hard coding this NS4 system, right? Suppose if you transport to quality, how can we change it if we want to the path the
Okay.
system NS4?
Remember, remember, this new app JSON is only for local testing and local connection purpose. As you see this picture again, this is your web
Okay,
IDE. If you want to connect to quality production or any system, you're doing it from your web IDE for local testing. That's when the new app JSON comes into picture. When you're deploying this app to
okay,
SAP Fiori gateway system or SAP system, this new app JSON is nowhere in the picture, because now if you see, the app is deployed as part of your SAP UI5 system, SAP system already. Now, all the paths which you see are relative paths. They are not absolute paths. So now if you see your app is deployed here in the system, new app JSON doesn't come into picture when you're deploying. This is your SAP system, your app is deployed. Watch out, watch out. Go back to manifest, go back to anywhere, go back to index. You see, it's not referring to any host and port. It is referring to slash resources, which means it's a relative path. It will look forward for the SAP UI core JS in your local SAP UI5 system. Inside your SAP system where you deployed this app, it will refer locally to that URL. So when you launch this app in SAP system and you say run, you see, in my case, locally it's running on local host. In when you run this in a productive SAP system, it will run like your company name, IBM dot sapecc.com colon 8086, something of that sort. So then this path what you mention is relative. It's not absolute. You are not saying IBM dot demo.com, right?
okay,
It's not absolute. It's
okay,
relative path. It will refer locally within that system. It will try to look forward for UI5 framework deployed within the system. Okay, that's what system will do. So you don't have to do anything. And when the same code reaches to quality, it refers to the quality UI5. When it reaches to production, it refers to production. Similarly, OData service also. When it reaches to quality system, it refers to the OData of quality, and henceforth forward, it will refer to the OData of production. So new app JSON
okay.
is only for local web ID to be able to connect to systems. Yes,
Yeah, so you mentioned like 1.44, right? So is there a way like I can change it to 1.54?
I don't think so. The web ID personal edition comes with a certain version which is maximum allowed, and I think I'm not sure the current version which it is supporting.
Okay.
I have to check the release
So where will we check
documentation
it?
for that. So SAP web ID which I installed locally the other day, it comes with certain version, guys. maximum version, I'm not sure what is the maximum version it supports.
Yeah,
So I have no clue about it.
I,
I have to check that.
yeah, Anubhav. So because I'm unable to use the smart table, all those things in
Then you have
local web,
to
right?
you have to go with bootstrapping from CDN, which we were doing earlier. Okay, you have to go
So,
with this.
Anubhav, how did you write 1.44.12 there? Like, where I can check my
Okay,
local
just
web
check
ID version?
SAP Wi-Fi versions. You can see all the versions over here. 1.44 is here, you see.
Mm, Okay, but there are others also. Like, how will I know like which one I have downloaded? My personal edition is referring to which one?
Yeah, that is what I said. I have to check release notes. What is the maximum version SAP Web ID Personal Edition?
Okay, okay, no problem.
You have to check that. You have to check that in the
Okay.
documentation. What is the maximum it is supporting locally? CDN से तो कुछ भी सब कुछ support करेगा CDN. From CDN, if you are referring any version, it will support. But locally, which version SAP Wi-Fi Web ID is supporting, I'm not sure. I have to check that. Maximum which version it
A-
is supporting.
And we have not given OData yet. Only we have given the
Now
system
I'm
path
coming to
right
that.
now,
Please
right?
allow me to proceed, guys. We
Okay.
will not be able to complete our
Sure,
class properly. So let's
sure,
proceed.
sure.
And now let's connect to OData. So I'm going to define an OData model now. So what I'm going to do is, as you remember, this is our manifest JSON. In this, we have written the model by far, and our JSON model was the default model, right? Now I want to change and make my default model as OData model. So let's blank. Now you remember, एक मियान में दो तलवारें नहीं रह सकते. Similarly, there are two models now. This JSON model I'm changing to local, and this is my default model. I'm making this as my O data model. Now this is going to be our O data model. So for this, what we will do is we have to define the information about the O data. What is this O data will contain? Which service it is going to talk to? That is what we have to say. So we have to say two properties. We have to just mention data source, guys. So we have to mention data source, a data source name, and that data source we have to define that particular data source on top into the sap.app section. Okay, so let us go and do that. So we have to just mention something called data source name as part of definition of an standard OData model which we want to create. So just mention a data source property and then define the data sources on the top in SAP app section. So let's come here and I'm just going to put data source and let's do the data source name here. I can say Anubhav service. That's it. And this Anubhav service you have to define on top in SAP app section. Where is my SAP app section? So let me check. Here it is. This is SAP app section. And it's good practice, guys, to keep the SAP app section always on top. That's always a good practice. Let me cut it, put it always on the top. And now in this section, I have to provide data sources. Now, guys, it is possible to have multiple data sources, but you remember I told you the best practice of using query application. Ideally, you should only have one data source so that one UI5 project connects to one OData service. That is the best practice. Still, choice is yours. As part of now this data source, I have mentioned Anubhav service. So I have to mention this data source details, Anubhav service, URI types and setting of OData. So let's go ahead and provide three properties, URI, type, and settings. So in this data sources, I have a data source declaration, which is called about service, URI, type, and settings. Three properties we have to give. So in the URI, now I have to put relative path. Guys, when you're deploying this app, remember, never hard code your URL. If you put HTTP oft.com /8080/sap/ whatever is your URL path for OData. Let me get that. Here it is. So that's my OData path. Let me copy that and just get that over here. Now, what will happen when you deploy this app? This is your development system absolute URL. When this code reaches to quality, what will happen? When this code reaches to quality, what will happen? It will still point to development system, right? Let's say this is your development system URL. When this code reaches to quality, it will still refer develop. It's still called the development system code data service. When it reaches to production, still calling a development system code data service. That's why remove this. Just keep relative path. This means whatever is the current host where I'm running this app, uska audit out how. Okay. In this case, I'm running locally, so it will refer new app. When you deploy to quality and production, it will refer to the quality, production, and development subsequently the OData path. The type of the service, we have to mention what is the type of the service. It's of course an OData model. Then we have to also give OData version. So let's go ahead and do that. So the type of the model is OData service, OData, and we have to give version of OData in the settings. It's 2.0. Okay, this is all we have to define to be able to create a fresh OData model automatically, and SAP UI5 will do this automatically for you. You just have to describe manifest.json. Okay, that's all you got to do, guys. Now there's a problem coming. Additional properties. SAP data source has settings additional property. Let's go to descriptor editor. Go to data sources. Where is my order service information? Data sources, Anubhav service. And yeah, this is okay. You can see I mentioned it here. And 2.0 OData version. That's it. We are okay, guys. You can also do it here. You can add more OData connections here directly. So that will generate the code automatically. But now I've just done it manually using code editor to showcase you how it works. That's it. By default, it's going to call now the data. Watch out, watch out. Let's go back. The data won't come now, guys, of course, because we have changed the model to the local model now. Now I press F12 and I just do a refresh. So let's go to sources and look at the network call. I refresh. You will see it will now make a call to our OData service. And there you go. It's asking me username, password, guys. Congratulations. You have successfully connected to our SAP system. And just provide my password, and there you go. You see it has made a call, it has made its first call, and it has got the metadata of the OData service. You can also double click in the network tab and you see it's loading the service document. Congratulations, guys. This is how you connect an OData from a Fiori application. So you understood the purpose of defining a data source, what are the properties you put inside a data source to create an OData model, and creating a default OData model, and also specifying the new app JSON setting to be able to connect to the system using destination. Now it's time to bring in the data. Instead of fruits, now I'm going to get all my products. Watch out, very easy. What is the entity set name as part of your OData which gets you all the products? Anybody? What is the entity set name which gets you all the products from the OData service? Product set, right? Product set है ना, कितना time आप क्या सोचते हो कितना time लगेगा? How much time do you think it will take to get data from OData service now? How much time? What brings the data in the least control? Anybody? Basic question once again. The previous class, those who have not practiced the last classes, they will have zero knowledge now. They will not understand anything what I do here. What did you do last time to get the data, to pull the data? Aggregation binding, perfect answer. Let's go inside, go to view one. Look at where is the aggregation binding done. Let's check it out. Where is the aggregation binding done? Let's go and check it out. So now I just go back to the view one, and now you see here is a list control, and we have done an aggregation binding somewhere. Here we have done, you see slash fruits. What do you think? What is the entity set name from where now the data should come? What is the entity set name in your OData where the data should come? What is the entity set name where the data? Product set. Bus, done, guys. Done. Congratulations. Done. Data will come automatically from the data and populate as part of your list control. However, in the relative binding, you remember these properties also needs to change because they are corresponding now to the new JSON which will OData will return. So what are all our properties? Let's go back and check. It's product ID. I want to show product ID. Product ID. I want to show product name and supplier name. So I want to give title as product ID. Intro, I want to give product name. Price, currency code. Photo I don't have right now, so I can ignore it. I can just put a standard icon. And that's it, guys. Watch out. Come back and see the magic happening here. In just a minute or so, we are connected to our order. Refresh now and see, tuck, 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 boom, there you go. Wow, amazing, superb. All the data have been fetched out from the real-time backend system, your real ECC system or your ERP system, S4HANA system, S-Suite on HANA system, CRM system, any system it could be. Just create the old data, connect to the entity sets, and done, guys. It fetches the data, automatically populates the list. SAP UI5 understand it so well, so well. And now imagine if you have billion products, what will happen? What will happen if you have 1 billion products? Will it ever load? It will never load. You have to do a paging. Watch out. Let me just press F12 and see what's going on right now. I press F12 and press enter and see what's happening here. System is making a call. Remember, all the calls which will go to load the data will be all dollar batch calls. Okay, dollar batch call. So any dollar batch call which you see here, it's actually a call to your OData service. Now you see it has made a dollar batch call to read the data for products. So come down, you can see there's a get of count to get the count of products, and you can also see get of product sets. Watch out, see, SAP UI5 is so smart, it has added skip and top automatically. Guys, do you remember this? The other day we were doing it manually. You don't have to do that manually. SAP UI5, SAP Fiori is so smart. It does it for you for free. See, it is automatically doing a paging up to 100. Can I control this? Even 100 records are too much. I want to just load 20. Can I do that? Anybody? Do you think what do we do? We can actually do that. We can control what is my page size. Just come back to the list control. ये list load कर रहा है data. यहाँ पे just come and add a property called growing equals to true, and you just put growing threshold. Okay, growing threshold equals to 20. Very good, Saket. Just save this. Come back. Watch out now. This network or network is your best friend, guys. Network will tell you what's going on. Okay. Come back. Refresh. Watch out. Let's see. This time when it calls the OData dollar batch call, you see it much faster it loaded. Why? Because chunk size has been reduced to 20. And let's come. There you go. You can see dollar top equals to 20, man. That's what I like about SAP UI5. I can customize and control the way I want. This is my chunk size, guys. That's the beauty of SAP UI5. Along with it, it
So,
understands it so well, automatically it understands it. So now it can do that. Now wait, just hold on your question just a second. Now watch out what happens. I clear the console right now. And now watch out. I scroll down and reach to the 20th record. It will load the next chunk automatically. Let me come down, scroll down, 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 down. And watch out, watch out. I can see a more button. I click on more button and boom, there you go. Another call has been made to the backend. This time, anybody, what do you think will happen this time? Any guess what will be the value of your parameters? Yeah, I know 20. That's the next chunk. But what do you think? What will be your dollar parameters? Yes, perfect, Sachin Anand. Dollar skip will be 20 and next 20 will be loaded. There you go. Dollar skip is 20 and next 20 are getting loaded. That's the beauty of SAP UI5. You don't have to do all this nonsense yourself. All that is generated and understood by SAP UI5. SAP Fiori, SAP List Control is doing that for you. It is applicable every control. You have a drop down, you have a checkbox, you have a table, you have a list. Everywhere it is applicable, it automatically understand, makes the backend call necessary to that. Okay. Similarly, if you want to do searching, there's an exercise for all of you. You have to now avail a search mechanism. You remember dollar filter we did only for category. So now if I say search for notebook, yeah, right now it is not working, but you have to make a call. You have to necessarily push the filter to your default model with notebook. So right now you see it's making a call automatically by putting your notebook in there. You see dollar filter call it has made automatically, but it's searching in the name. Just change this name as per our filter. Where is our filter code? It's in the controller. I don't want to give this exercise. No exercises anymore. Let's come down. Where is our code for filter? On search. So here I'll comment out this second filter right now. And just pass filter. And here I will put category. And whatever is the string matching, that is the category I want. That's it. Watch out now. Let's come back, refresh the page. It will do filtering of all the products based on category. I'm not displaying category right now. Let me display category also. So I go back to my view. Let's display the category. So I'm going to add inside this attributes. आज नहीं रोको मुझे सर, आज मुझे पढ़ाने दो पूरा नॉन स्टॉप. Let me complete this topic. At the end we'll have question and answers. आज मत रोकना. Object attributes. Title. This is another control in SAP UI5. And now I'm going to just do the binding over here. I'm going to say product category. That's an object attribute control. Let's come back and test it. It should also load the category of the products now. You can see category of the product is displayed notebooks. Suppose I now want to search only the products with miscellaneous. Yeah. Watch out how it does. Watch out. It will make a no data call automatically. MI. There you go. You see it's making a call. Wow, superb. You see it made a call to the back end on every key type in. And you see dollar filter. This is what we learned the other day. Manually doing it. SAP Fiori is doing it for you for free. It has made a filter called OData dollar filter substring of this. It has made it for free, guys. And you see it has loaded all the products, automatically filtered out products with MICE, including in the category. Why? Because my backend also supports category based filter. You remember the other day we coded our OData service, we have supported it. What about detail screen? Yes, you have element binding. It works naturally. You can see all this will work naturally because you have detail binding. Now, of course, my properties are different now. So on the right hand side, the properties needs to be mapped accordingly to be able to display the data for products. What about supplier data? I go to supplier data. Here now I want to display supplier data in a form. You remember there is a product and supplier relationship. Yeah, we had a relationship using dollar $expand. So now I want to display supplier data on the right hand side. How can I do that? The dependent associated entity data on the right hand side. Let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to come back to the fragment for suppliers. I'm just going to add a simple form. Table hata deta hu. Just remove the table. I can just select this table, control shift slash, comment out this whole thing. And now I am comfortable with copy paste of code. Let's go to SAP UI5 framework, UI5 SDK. I'm going to get a form quickly out of it. So now I just go to API reference, samples, and I search for a simple form. There you go. This is a simple form example. I can go with simple form with one group or two group, whatever I wish to. I can just go inside that. There you go. This is a simple form. I can switch it to the code mode. Go to display. Just take it out, this whole code. Take it out, man. Take it out. Just bring it on. Copy that. come back to web ID and paste in here a complete piece of code right into it. And now the necessary libraries I would also want to get in. So where is my libraries? So I can go back, and these are the libraries I'm using. And let's go just and bring them up as well. You go save this up. Everything looks good. That's my fragment now. And now I can just come and change supplier name, supplier information, supplier name. I will put what are all the details we had in supplier OData. Let me just go and check. So using navigation, now I just check the supplier information. To supplier is the navigation path. I want supplier name, and I want supplier company name will come. City and country information I want. I can say city and country. Yeah, it is zip code and country. It is also there. Postal code. So let's do the binding with these properties. Postal code. Now remember here you have to put the binding with the navigation properties. So slash to supplier slash this. So now I'm saying from to supplier, please get me this information, which is with the binding. Company name, city, country. And let's also go back to the more info. Here we have to do relative path. You remember this is benefit and other things. We have to change that. So now I have to say name, description of the product. So that is description property. We have already element binding done in our code. So it will naturally bring all the data. It will bind that exact product with the data set. We don't have any issue with that. So description, I want the dimension of the product. So I have height, weight of the product. So let's go back to the data service. Check the properties of a single product. So we have description, we have product category, we have name, we have supplier ID, we have price, currency. Yeah, so let's use type code and category also to display here. I say type code. So all this relative path I'm just putting in because we have already element binding in place with this with the second view. So category, and let's save this. Voila. Let's come back and test it. We are all ready to test this piece. Now refresh this. You see on the top slash root slash product set HT1061. Yeah, just remove that. Press enter. Okay, something went wrong. Really terribly gone wrong. I'm gonna come and check console, and there you go, some error in our XML fragment for supplier. XML fragment for supplier has got an issue, man. Go inside, check here what went wrong. Did I miss out something? No, this binding is correct, guys. There's no problem with the binding, but I might have missed out something in syntax, something syntactically incorrect. So vbox, what is that gone wrong? Core is added 2 times. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's remove that. Yes, let's come back. Wow, there you go. It's loading up. And now let's see the magic. Go to sources, network tab. It has made a call to load all the products. And now just clear the console. Click on one product. Yeah. And it's hitting debugger. That's okay. Continue. Go to network. You see another batch call has been made, and it is now in this batch call, it's reading that single product data, of course. Now let's come back down there. Oops, it's not loading my data, guys. You see description didn't come, type category did not come, supplier data also did not come. What happened? Something went wrong. What is that went wrong? The went wrong thing is your binding. If you remember, we have a path which was prepared in root match handler of second view. In root match handler of second view here, we have prepared a path with slash fruits slash s path. It's incorrect. The binding should be done with slash product product set with the product ID into it. That is what the cause of binding. If you see the debugging again in Hercules method, when it's doing the binding, see here in the binding, the S path here, if you see, it is product set HT1001. This is the path we should do the binding actually. We should not do the binding with slash fruits. Slash fruit OData doesn't recognize. OData doesn't have any path called slash fruits. OData has a path called slash product set this one. If you take this call as it is, just check your S path. This is how you can check. Take this S path, copy this complete S path, copy that, go back to OData call and just try to put it here. मिलेगा क्या इसको? मिलेगा क्या ये स्लैश फ्रूट? ये मिलेगा क्या? नहीं मिलेगा. It won't find this path now. Actually, system is doing behind the scenes same thing which I'm showing here in the URL. System is invoking this. Okay, press enter, gives an error. Of course, data not there. Where the data is there, ये fruit extra है. पुराना कोड की वजह से साइड इफेक्ट है. एंटर करो and now you see you're getting the data. So you have to of course change this path binding for element binding. So come back to controller 2, just remove this slash fruits, save this, and now refresh one more time. And now watch out what it does. Press enter. It takes this from the top, this S path, and now see it's preparing the path properly. You can test it again. Take this path, and there you go. You see this path is correct. You can copy that. I already showed you. It's working. Press F6, sorry, F8. Let it continue. And now see, come down, down. Voila! You can see my description is coming up, my type code coming up, my notebooks also coming up. Superb, guys. That's the beauty of UI5. SAP does it so well, the OData service. Just like a JSON model binding, same thing is working here. Go to supplier data. Supplier data is not coming because it's coming from association, it's coming from navigation property. And to be able to fetch that data naturally as part of navigation property, we have to also explicitly tell SAP UI5 that we want to expand it also. So when you are fetching the data for product, you have to also in the bind element tell, please expand the dependent entity. Okay, how can you do that? Let's quickly go back and check UI5 SDK documentation. And I have to now tell search for expand. Okay, I don't see that. Just search for bind element. I don't see that. Okay, then I have to go to Google, expand SAP UI5. Search for that. During bind element, I have to expand. I have to tell the system I want to expand the association so that associated entity data can also be fetched. This is what I have to tell the system during bind element. Okay, so now you can see here somewhere it will tell us how to expand the dependent entity data. Yes, parameters may you have to pass. So in the bind element, you have to say parameters expand and your aggregate your navigation property name you have to mention. So parameters expand, that is what you have to pass. Let's come back. So during bind element, comma, is it directly passed or is it inside curly braces? So curly braces path is S path of course, comma, parameters. Please expand what to supplier. Then only supplier data will come up. this to supplier thing. You have to mention as it is, no spelling mistake allowed. Done. Watch out now. It will also send an expand request. So now what was it was doing in network call, if you go and check, it was just making a call to read single product. Okay. It was just making a call to read that single product. See here. It's just reading the single product data. It's not reading the associated supplier data right now automatically. With that bind element parameter expand parameter, it will now make a dollar expand call. It will make a dollar expand call to the OData service, guys. Now let's compare it once again. I press refresh. It will load my code. Now the call which it will make, it will add up the dollar expand to it. So the supplier data, dependent supplier data will also be loaded, guys. That's what system will do for us now. Free, this is what for free SAP UI is offering to us. Now coming down, dollar batch call, come down, down. Voila! Can you see dollar expand has been added this time automatically to the call which it was making with HD10001. It is added dollar expand. Now same thing will happen between your sales order and sales order items. That's what system will do. Sales order and sales order items also system will do the same thing. It will load all the items for that particular sales order. Watch out here, the key property, the sales order ID, expand the items, only the item of that particular sales order which user selected on the master list. It will do an expand. Now come to supplier data. Still the supplier data is not coming. The reason is something we have missed out, and that is actually the binding. Now you have to come, and this particular binding which you're doing, it should be the relative path, not absolute path. I think that's the challenge. Maybe you can do one thing, just remove the slash from the beginning, and it will do the necessary thing for us. It's actually now loading supplier data for us. Either you do this thing, there are multiple ways to achieve this, or you can put supplier at the simple form level, which is again the element binding at the form level, and then relative path within the child element. So multiple things you can use, multiple ways, like what we learned in the previous chapters. You can do that. So come down. Oops, is still not coming. Something is wrong. Maybe I have to check that. Okay, my description also gone now. Why it is happening? Something went wrong. Let's go and check it out. Let me just cross check what went wrong. What is now my path? I have to check my path now. Is this proper? Yeah. Okay, guys, you see, guys, this time slash is automatically added to the product set because we did an expansion. Slash is automatically added to our product set. So this slash is unnecessary. That's why it's adding now 2 slashes here. Yeah, it's adding 2 slashes. No, it's correct only. It's correct only. Why it's not loading my data then? It should load. Let me just check the network call. It made the network call. It has got this one. Let's see the response. It has got the data. Now see, it has got the data. Let's take this JSON and check it on jsonlink.com, what it has produced. Let me just cross check. Something wrong with our binding. No problem. We'll fix it up. Not a big deal. Just come and check this JSON, what it has returned with that call with $expand. And you see it has got me supplier data. It's got me product data also. This JSON has a bug, guys. You see, this JSON has a bug, I think. Yes, you see. It's an invalid JSON. You remember same issue yesterday we were facing. We have an issue with our current gateway system. It's not giving proper response. You see this comma is having an issue. See, it's putting a comma on top. Somewhere my gateway has a bug, guys. It's a standard SAP UI5 bug. Sorry, SAP gateway bug. We have reported a ticket for this to SAP already. The JSON which it is returning, it's not proper, guys. It's not proper JSON which it is returning. So this is a bug. Because of that, I cannot show you, but just get an idea. This two supplier is coming. And now this is just a simple JSON. Consider this a hard-coded JSON which you used for binding the other day in the JSON model exercise. Same thing is happening. Now it's returning a data. That is the data we are binding it here. It will work. Just right now in this case it's not working. The reason being our JSON format output from the gateway is incorrect currently. Okay, so right now I just ignore this. You can later on test this, of course, and just bring it back in little stable state one more time. Just come back, press enter, and now you will see the data will load. So that's all about connecting your SAP OData service to SAP's to your Fiori application. Hope you liked today's class. In next class, we'll just finish one more last exercise for posting the data to SAP system and deploying this app to the gateway. Deployment is very easy. It's a one-click process. Right click, deploy, ABAP repository, select your ABAP system, S4HANA 1709 server I want to deploy. Just choose that up. It's asking me credentials, say okay. And it will now deploy my application. It will ask me where to deploy this. So I can just mention that. What is the name of the application I want to create? That will be the name it will deploy with. Just choose that. It's very easy actually. Deployment is not at all difficult. Just choose that. And now you see guys, also interestingly, our current app is built by the version SAP UI5 version 1.44. In my server, I have version 1.48 which is available. Okay, which is actually okay, no problem. Server में कम नहीं होना चाहिए इससे, वरना problem हो जाएगा. If you have built an app with 1.50 and your SAP server has SAP UI5 version lesser than 1.50, you will have issues in your production system. This is what happens with many people. Your company, knowingly, unknowingly, they have a very lower version of UI5 in your company. Let's say 1.28. I saw in Saket system, they were earlier on 1.28. The app was built and deployed according to 1.28. The moment they upgraded SAP UI5 framework in their system to 1.32 recently, the app blasted. It stopped working. The reason is very simple. Now the app is actually built on lower version. The moment SAP UI5 goes on higher version, app is no more compatible. And this incompatibility is having very high chances of disaster, especially in case of 1.28 to 32. From 32 to 44, it's all okay, guys. Okay, but especially those who are in 1.2628, which was first version of UI5, you will have disastrous effect when they upgrade it to 1.32. So be very careful when you're deploying your app. Just make sure cross check here that you have a good version, at least higher or same version in your gateway system. It will work then. Say next, give some name. I say Z Anubhav FF my Fiori app. I want to deploy this into a package. Just browse that up. You can say dollar. Search for it. Oops, it's not showing. It's not fetching up the packages. Some problem. You can just go back. Next. Browse. ये हमेशा एक बार में नहीं करता है. Something funny with my server. It doesn't do it in one time. To do it again, say deploy. Select the server. It doesn't fetches the package information in one shot actually. Okay, let's do it again. It's fetching the information to be able to deploy my app into the server. It's fetching actually the package information which are all there inside my SAP system. Say next. Z Anubhav first Fiori app FFA Fioritrainings.com, and I say browse and I say dollar, and voila, you see it has fetched my packages. I can also search for zpack 50 or zpack. You see there's a package. Say okay, and now I can lock it into a transport request. Yes, there you go. It fetches all the transport requests which are there in SAP system. I want to move my app into the quality. You can choose this, say next, finish. Deployment begins, and you will see in a minute. Let me connect to my SAP logged on. Okay, there's a problem. You cannot deploy the app. I think this package is not supporting the deployment. Maybe I deploy it in a $TMP, guys. Of course, you can do it in a package and with the transport for sure. I just deploy it again in a local object, and I just connect to my SAP system.
So Anubhav, this gets saved in workbench request or
Workbench
customization?
request, not customizing request. You have to have a workbench request. That client should be development client. Remember, very important, the basics of a app, which I assume you all know. It's a development object. It will deploy it as a BSP application. TTBB. What do you mean by TTBB? Anybody? Any guess? TTBB. Anyone? What is
Tata
it?
bye bye.
Yes,
Tata
absolutely.
bye bye.
If I think our last class, these are all jargons people use in companies. It's so funny. Many times people do that. मैंने कहा एक दिन एक बंदे को, are you coming for lunch? But then no, something he mentioned. I forgot that acronym. These very dangerous acronyms. Yeah, Tata bye bye TTBV. Many people use these kind of acronyms in companies. We don't understand. Okay, great. Looks like it's moving up a little bit. I just connect to my SAP S/4HANA system. Yeah, it's actually progressing this time. Looks like this package is supporting us to be able to deploy this. Just connect to my system. Yeah, it's progressing good, guys. Looks like it is progressing. And let's see how does it go. In process, we can go to SC80 in the meantime and open our local object user. Wow, guys, you can see the message on the top, deployed successfully to S4HANA system. And now let's go to local objects. Dun, dun, dun. Go to BSP catalog. Where is my BSP applications? Uh, uh, uh. Okay, I think I use Mob8, guys. Mob8 user. And BSP library. Come inside. Voila! Z Anubhav TTBB, guys. You can see system has created this application for you. That's your index HTML for doing local testing. You can just execute it and watch out. It will connect to the system, which is your current system. You see now the host name here. Yeah, this is the host name it will get the OData from. When the same code reaches to quality, the host name will be different, right? When it reaches to production, this will be different. So always mention relative path in the OData binding. Always mention relative path, guys. That's very, very important. You should always mention relative path. Now, what system actually does during deployment? It also creates a SICF service. You can always check that. Sometimes if something is wrong with system, this SICF service doesn't get created. Okay, just come here, mention the project name, Z Anubhav TTBB. So I come here to service name and I say execute. And there you go. You see, this service must have been created as part of your OData. Okay, very important. If it is not there, boss, something is wrong with your system. Okay, don't come to me. Don't come to me. I cannot solve your problems. It's your system. I can only demo you and explain you things, but don't come to me. I cannot solve everybody's deployment. Please understand that it's not possible for me to do that. 1,000+ students by far. If everybody comes to me with their custom requirement, Anubhav, mera deploy kar do, mera deploy kar do. Impossible for Anubhav to do that. Okay. Until unless I have cosmic vision and superpowers, I cannot do that. And I don't have, guys,
Anu-
like a normal developer.
Anubhav,
Now you can test it from here. Just wait a second, last minute. I can do a
sure.
test service from here, or I can run it also from there. It's all I can do. Let me just execute this. And you see it's launching up. This is my host name and port number. And I can just quickly press F12. Something went wrong, guys. I think it says SAP not found. Yes, as expected, SAP is not defined. The reason is very simple. The bootstrapping. The bootstrapping में छोटा सा गड़बड़ हो गया, छोटा सा. I can go back and directly change this app here. Go to index HTML, go for change, and this resource should not start with Flash. It's the smallest change I have to make. Just inactivate. Directly you can make the change and save this. Let's come back and test it. I'll take your question. Don't worry. I'll not leave you like that. Just refresh. And now looks all cool. Console is looking fine, fit and fine. By far, everything looks healthy. And let's see what it does. Component preload.js not found. This is an expected error, guys. If you want to know what is component preload.js, please watch my YouTube video on this particular topic with current JS based build, best practice SAP UI5 build, also part of my advanced Fiori course. What is this component preload.js file? And voila, congratulations guys. You can see it has loaded it here. The video which I've been talking about, let me quickly show you that. What is component preload.js? Let me show you that. Oh, you have already seen Kamesh. Good, you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get an automatic update of all these latest content which I'm posting. So component hyphen preload, search for that. And oops, मेरा वीडियो किधर है मेरा वीडियो? Okay, let me search.
Search your grunt.js.
Yeah,
Search your grunt.js.
yes, build. Grunt is itself is a very big thing. You will not see me coming on top. Search for UI5 and press enter. You go on the top, you can see this one. अच्छा, इसका title change करना पड़ेगा. I have to change the title. I'll change it today. Which one? Which is the one? I think it's full stack training. This is 1 month ago. This is 1 week ago. This is the one which is correct one, guys. I'll change the title. Don't worry. This is the video. 200 plus views, 7 likes. Good. So just please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to stay updated with latest things. I have to change the title of this video, including component.preload.js. So that's what I have to do. Please watch this video. If you don't want to attend my training, no problem. You can watch this video understanding the basics of component preload.js file, guys. Okay, if you are attending training, of course, very welcome. You can understand everything end to end. Then I can select it, and of course it should supposed to load the details screen. Yes, there you go, it's loading up. So complete application this time. Watch out, you see it's not no more local host, it's actual SAP server where I deployed my application. I am done with the class. There is one more class tomorrow pending, just 15 to 20 minutes to show you create call and a call to our get most expensive product using function import. These two things are pending. I will showcase in the tomorrow's class 30 minutes, and next 30 minutes will be all over to you in tomorrow's class for the doubts. This was so far the best batch I had, guys, till date. The best batch till date. Because this batch, especially, we had almost every session extended about 30 more minutes for doubt clarification. I have given maximum number of exercises in this batch, and I have really got a chance to meet great people in this batch. Over to you guys.
Anubhav.
Yes.
Yeah, Anubhav, Saket here.
Yes.
So, since we are done with our class, almost tomorrow will be over, right?
Tomorrow we'll end up the sessions completely. The course will be completed.
So, is it possible to, whatever the remaining days are there, so we will just brief or recap our session completely. Maybe you can ask questions, maybe we can recap, something
If
like
you
that.
guys allow me to ask, I can ask. Usually you guys don't allow me to proceed.
No, that's totally fine.
So if you guys park your questions tomorrow, I can ask interview question. By the way, guys, free interview questions available on my website, created by one of my best students. Her name is Charulata. She has moved to Australia, applying for PR and got a job in a very good company this time. She updated me about a month ago. She got in a permanent PR role in an Australian company. Very good package, about 72 lakh per annum. Very good resource. She only created this ABAP on HANA interview question and UI5 interview questions. She posted ABAP on HANA questions also on sapart.com. So if you just open these questions, all my examples of ABAP on HANA, you will find उसने एक गलती कर दिया, मेरे example direct डाल दिया, इसमें अनुभव दिख रहा है जगह जगह पे. If you see here, many examples of SQL script, there is अनुभव printed in those examples, but that's okay. Okay, so that is a small thing. So if you go to sapyard.com also, you will find it over there. So just come there. So many SQL script examples I have. The ABAP and HANA questions not relevant for you guys. More relevant is UI5. So just go to UI5 here. These are all UI5 interview questions, free of cost. Anybody can go and download. No subscription required. There you go. इसमें सब कुछ है, पूरा recap है, starting from HTML till the last. If you want to showcase some equal passion, bring it on. Get me the best out of interview questions. Prepare a set and give me a PDF document or give me a Word document. Don't give PDF, give me Word document. I will post it on the website. किसी का तो भला कर जाओ मरने से पहले. एक इंसान का भी भला कर दोगे ना, लाइफ सफल हो जाएगा. Just one person if you can change the life, more than enough. Life is complete. Life is complete if you can just help one person in your life. And if
Anubhav.
many, then it's fully satisfied. Okay. Yes, please. Questions.
Yes, so first question, Prasun here. I have first question like if we don't have HANA, so the same process we will use for deploying, right? And just it will create a BSP application, then we can expose it to anywhere, either
Yeah.
portal or as a mobile app or anywhere, right?
Right. Correct.
Okay. So and before this, that handle version issue you told, right? We will have so just in manifest we will update the versions and it will start working if we have that version kind of issue, right?
Version
Or we have to.
incompatibility, if you have, maybe not really, that will probably not help. See, suppose you have used a control from SAP UI5 library 1.52. You have used a
Okay.
smart filter control, let's say some control. Let's say you've used Excel uploader.
Yep.
Okay, this control is available from 1.52. Okay, available from 1.52. You are referring to CDN for bootstrapping. It's loading the library 1.54 or 1.56, which is latest, and you use this control nicely, happily. Now, while you're deploying, your server is saying you are on 1.44.
Yep.
Many फेस में
So
चेंज से चलेगा क्या? नहीं
नहीं
चलेगा.
चलेगा but the thing is like unless we have such controls we won't face any issue like अगर ऐसा control रहा
Yes.
तभी
If
problem
you have
आएगा
basic
right.
UI5 control, in our training, I've not used any exceptional control which will not work. The code which I built here, it will work starting from 1.32 to any above version. The one which we built inside our training, I built it in a
Yeah.
way that if you have any version in your company, it will work. Our code will work. Because I've
Okay.
not used
And
any exceptional control. There is one control called SAP visualization, which I've not used here. I'm going to use that in our advanced training. There it is has a dependency. Also in Anubhav learning series, I have used one control which is for Excel integration. Okay. So this is what, we have a small thing there. That is actually need 1.52. In Anubhav learning series, when you go, you will find that control I've used there. I mentioned also in Anubhav learning series that time that if you're using this, you make sure that your version is this. But majority of the things which I'm building or showing Anubhav learning series or in advanced course or in this course, except few exceptions, everything will work from 1.32 to any version you are. So you will not find any issue due to version in my code, which I'm delivering to you guys in training.
Okay, so last question I have regarding that paging was happening, right? So dollar top and dollar skip was included by framework itself directly. So it was client side paging, right? But in the back end, it will
It
be
is not
fetching
client side
all the
paging.
data,
It's
right?
not client side paging. It's a paging on server side. When you click this button, it makes a request to server. In server, it fetches only next 20 records and it loads next 20 records on the client side. It is a paging on server side. So from client, you're sending request according to the paging. It's only loading
Okay.
the data from in JSON model. However, it's always client side paging also because JSON is a client side model. It loads all the data in one shot, and then all the filtering, sorting, searching is all in local, all in client side. In this
Okay, so
server
we
side
have to have
model
logic
data,
for that.
it's all loading based on need. Yeah.
So it has to have logic on the back end side. If logic is not there, it will not happen here, right? So Like let's say I don't put dollar paging logic, right? Pagination logic we put earlier there, dollar top and dollar skip in O data service creation. If we don't put that, in that case, what will happen here? All the records will start loading.
You cannot do that actually with OData. OData will anyway restrict the records maximum size to 100. You saw initially also when we started
Yes.
the first paging, it was automatically adding 100 because knowingly unknowingly कुछ developer तो आता नहीं है ना अंदर पूरा समझ में डाल देते सीधा बाइंडिंग कर डालते हैं और फिर आ
But
जाते हैं
how
हमारा
does
ऐप
it
नहीं चल
change
रहा
the
है.
how does it change the select query? Like in the BAPI we were passing the parameter like max row up to itna, right? IV total something we did that. But here that code is commented. Let's say I have not given that piece of code. I'm
Then
not
it will
passing in
not work.
BAPI that max.
Then it will not work.
Right.
If you don't have handling
So
of dollar top skip in backend, it will
yep.
even you put dollar top 100, it will return all the records.
Yes,
It will return
exactly.
all
That
the
was my
records.
question. That
Yes.
that will cause performance issue, right?
Yes, of course it will cause, and it is
Oh.
causing for many people who have half knowledge or incomplete knowledge. Every day I get about 2 to 3 emails of these kind of weird issues from my ex students. सिखाने के बाद भी सिखाने के बाद भी गलत करते हैं. मैं क्या कर
And
सकता
how come it happens? First time it loads like it takes a lot of time. App takes a lot of time, and
हूँ?
after
That
that it
is
start taking
okay.
lesser time.
App resources. See, guys,
Data wise also.
yeah, app
Yeah.
resources also takes little bit of time. If you go to network call, just check the network call. When I refresh, it loads all the views, controllers. Remember, it's client-side JavaScript. सब कुछ load करना पड़ेगा इसको. Everything it has to load. So now, if you see the network call, it is loading all your views, controllers, everything it will load. So of course, there is a cache concept. If I empty cache and reload, you see it's loading index HTML. SCPI core JS. It will load all your views. You see all your views, all your controllers, all your manifest file, fragments, formatters, सब कुछ load करता है. You see, load किया इसने, controller load किया, view one load किया, model JS load किया, base controller load किया. All the files it's loading, and that's actually time consuming. So for that, we create a component preload.js to improve the speed of our application. And that's what the grunt.js build does. Grunt.js build
Yes.
simplifies this loading of the application resources into one single file called
Into one
component
file.
preload.js, which is covered in my advanced training. Lakshmi is posting a couple
Yes.
of topics. She's saying not covered in the course. Let me tell you, debugging we already saw. Logging and tracing we already saw in the network call, how to trace network calls. Common issues we already saw. Lot of exercises. We troubleshoot many things. Browser debugging we already saw that. That's JavaScript debugging in the client side using debugger command. SAP UI5 diagnosis tool, I already told you about Control Alt Shift P, and also the SAP UI5 inspector the other day. Then SAP UI5 mobile diagnosis. This is not covered in any of my course. I have no knowledge about this right now. Testing SAP UI5 application. For this, actually, if you're talking about unit testing, there are two things: QUnit and integration testing. If OPA 5, these two topics are covered in my advanced course, Lakshmi. Please subscribe my advanced course. There's many more things covered as part of that course. If you're interested to scale your knowledge to the next level, you will become Fury Architect after completing my advanced course.
Yeah,
Next
and about
question.
Jay here.
Yes, Jay.
Yeah, and about so you told right, like current system is like 1.44, and so how do I
1.48.
upgrade the
How can you check? How can you
yeah,
check the UI5 version in your
yeah.
SAP server? Go to SICF transaction.
No.
So
I'm asking
anyway,
about the
it's all,
local web ID.
yeah, just go to service name UI5 underscore UI5, execute. And here you see SAP public BC UI5. Right click on this service, say test service. You will so see which version my server is on to UI5 version. This is how you all can check. You see my server is on 1.48. So I am good. I am very good. My
So
app,
and about
maximum number of apps will
how
go.
do I check from my web ID, local web ID version?
So that is something I told you have to check release documentation for Web IDE. Just Google it up. You'll
Yeah,
find it.
when I try downloading the latest document, it shows SAP like version of 1.53.5.
Then good. 1.53 is supported then by local web IDE.
No, but when I try to deploy it, it says I have only 1.44 dot.
That is about your server version, it is telling.
No, the server version is much lower, like it's 1.38.
Yes.
This
Okay.
application version is like 1.
Then maybe here in the manifest you could have hard coded the version to 1.44. That could be the reason it's
Oh,
telling you that. In manifest now we have that, right? So if you go to manifest,
okay.
we have it, right? We put the setting the other day. This one, see?
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so can we have a look at the performance tuning of the UI5 application tomorrow?
No, that's
What
covered
all
in my
things we need
advanced
to?
training. Big topic actually. You can check that YouTube video actually. That has lot covered. Watch that YouTube video. Very good video. At least you'll understand the concept of performance tuning. Mhm. Fact sheet is not
Okay.
covered in any of the course. Fact sheet apps are obsolete. We are no more using fact sheet apps. You can see slowly. Initially, when SAP started Fiori, they had three types of app: fact sheet, analytical, and transactional. Transaction, we learned it end to end here. KPI analytical apps, we learn it in our advanced Fiori course. Then extension of Fiori apps, we learn in advanced Fiori course. Analytical Fiori app using OBP framework, we will learn it, and with CDS views and UI annotations, we'll learn it in ABAP on HANA training. Then mobile like app, HAT based hybrid application toolkit development based app, we'll learn it in advanced Fiori course. Fact sheet apps are nowhere covered. They are no more used in real-time industry. Similarly, SAP is also making all the fact sheet apps as obsolete. You can check it out. You will not find much fact sheet apps being used now anymore. What is the linkage of SAP UI
And
component with UI5 library? That's what the component name, Saket. SAP UI is the component name which they have to install to get the UI5 library as part of your course, as part of your server. Yeah, it's the component name. Like SAP ECC is the component. What it will get? It will get MM01, VA01. When you install SAP ECC, it gets those transaction codes. Similarly, when you install SAP UI component, it brings UI5 library as part of your project, as part of your UI system.
yeah, but one last question.
Mobile app will not cover Prasoon in this course actually. And I have no clue about SAP.
I know.
I don't work with SAP mobile
I
right
know. Okay. So I was just expecting like basic guidelines, like how to deploy
now. I've
this,
never
like
worked with
check all.
SMT actually. Once I worked with SAP MS mobile services in SAP Cloud Platform, just one small
So
project we did.
what is the main difference? SAP mobility, they say like many people will write in their
There is
profiles
no
and all, and
difference
Theory
actually.
UFO.
In SAP Mobility, they give also use Apache Cordova and this uh, Capsule SDK plugins. They use plugins for real mobile-like capability, like push notification, barcode integration, camera integration. They use these toolkits to be able to enable the real mobile-like features.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the mobility part. I think you can now, guys, learn yourself because you're comfortable with this thing. Saket is saying SMP is also not that much useful these days. Yeah, I have heard with many people,
Yeah.
nobody is using SMP these days.
So, above, like one last question, like if you are using web service instead of OData to integrate with Fiori, like
Dollar
what we
agent.
need to
Okay,
declare and how?
by the way, guys, I'm happy to show you now that day we were trying it. नहीं चल रहा था, होता है, नहीं चलता है, मेरा भी नहीं चलता है कई बार. Let me show you now. Let me start my server. So here, this is the application which I'm building. And I will show you now this application, how it is working. It has a real interaction with server. Okay. So that's what it will do. Now let me just launch it up. So in this, I'm using $AJAX call that day I was telling you, right? It'll post the data. So let me just open my campus also. My campus, where is my node campus? MongoDB campus to show you the data. Aja. Guys, you don't know what you have inside you. Just explore yourself. It is completely possible. You can beat Anubhav. There are many students of mine who learn from me and they are better than me today. They're better than me. और एक चीज याद रखना, always try to see if you can teach somebody else in your company, around you, people around you. Maybe your wife is in technical domains, you can teach her UI5. More you teach, more you learn yourself. Believe me, this works. Vidya baatne se badhti hai. This I realized 4 years back, 5 years back, when I started UI5 training. I always used to hear, when you teach somebody, you will learn more. I used to surprise this. After starting UI5 training, I realized actually I was teaching since last 10 years. WebDin Pro, Oops ABAP, these things I was teaching. But more exposure I got when I started teaching UI5. More I teach UI5, more I got more knowledge. So Vidya बांटने से बहुत बढ़ता है. This I can tell you surely for sure. Okay, let me quickly launch it up now the app. So I just go back. And yes, this is my local host. It's running on localhost. Launch it up. I have a beautiful login screen which I built. See, guys, I built a beautiful login screen, and it's gonna send a cookie to the server to certify if my user is valid or not. This is a login screen which I built. I said login, and now it logs me into the application, and then I can just go inside and I can enter email ID. I can say another@gmail.com. Inquire for UI5 training. And I click on save button. Voila, you see guys, I have validations also on server side. Using Node.js loopback framework, I am doing validations on the database. It's the server is coming from backend. You see, inquiry already exists for customer. Inquired on Friday, October 12th. This person has inquired already for an inquiry on UI5 training. This was created by Minakshi, this entry. All kind of validations I have it. Now, if I pass blank email ID, it gives me an error. You see, backend implementation I've implemented using loopback framework in Node.js. And I click on change the email ID to X and save. You see inquiry saved successfully. And the data is created now in my MongoDB database into the cloud. This is the kind of software which I'm creating, and there is no ABAP here. I'm using no data server. Funny, no data server, Node O data server. I'm using Node O data server with Node.js programming and loopback framework,
Anubhav,
IBM strong loop framework with Mongo's database driver for MongoDB. It's a NoSQL DB, and the database is Mongo Atlas, which is into the cloud. And I can deploy this application which I prepared anywhere in the world on any cloud platform now.
Anubhav, which operation do you use for the login?
For login, a loopback framework offers me some predefined services. It offers something called models, called user models. I have used that for doing it. Let me quickly show you the code. So here
So,
this
is it similar to GET or the
it's a
post
post operation.
post operation, right?
It's a post. But for you guys, you don't have to worry because in SAP world we have Fury Launchpad which does the authentication for us. You don't have to worry. In SAP world we have SAP Fury Launchpad, guys, which is doing the operation actually for you. Use open UI5 framework. You have a startup idea, go for it, guys. Don't wait for anybody to fund you. कोई funding नहीं करेगा आपका. Nobody will come. If you think some miracle will happen in life, नहीं होगा. You remember that dialogue? अगर किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात तुम्हें मिलाने पे आमादा हो जाती है. पूरी कायनात तुम्हें मिला देती है उस चीज से. कुछ नहीं होता है. Just all joke. सोचने से कुछ नहीं होगा. Nothing will happen. Just by thinking, nothing will happen. You have to do. You have to take actions to do it. Nothing will happen just by thinking it, guys. Nothing will happen. सोचते रहो, कायनात बैठी नहीं है तुम्हें मिलाने के लिए. कायनात कुछ नहीं करेगी. Nothing will happen. You have to take actions to be able to fulfill your dreams. It is all in your hand. It's easy to say, but difficult to do. You have to do it. Choose your good company, guys. Make good companies in your company. फालतू की बातें करने वाले बहुत लोग हैं. 80% जनता ऐसी है. अकेले रहना सीखो. Try to spend time solitude. Give time to yourself. What are you feeding to your mind? What are you feeding to your mind? Spending your most of the time on WhatsApp chit chatting and watching nonsense videos? You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Utilize it properly. Abhi bhi waqt hai. Abhi bhi waqt hai. You can utilize your time. Use it for good. You know, when after the lunch, I walk about 30 minutes a day. While I'm walking, I'm also using my mobile phone to learning something new. Watching some random YouTube video on JavaScript, watching some random YouTube video on Node.js, watching some random YouTube video on UI5. I learned a lot from my competitor also. I am always keeping an eye on what my competitors are teaching. वो तुरंत वो टॉपिक में इंक्लूड कर लेता हूँ मेरे कोर्स में. कोई भी टॉपिक नहीं छोड़ता हूँ. If you complete my training, you will find a full-fledged overall purview of the complete product, complete UI5, complete Fury, complete ABAP on HANA. किधर भी जाओगे कोई भी चीज मिस नहीं करोगे. I learned a lot and put heart and soul in my trainings to be able to get best out of experience for you guys. You don't miss out on any topic for that. Okay, just to quickly show you how am I doing logging. Just come back here. So in the controller, in the logon controller, app controller, which is I am actually doing the logging using Ajax call only. I'm making it actually. So just check the controller, which is admin panel, doing an Ajax call. This is all UI5 code I've written by far to be able to build this project. You see formatters, I'm using formatter. A lot of things I'm using actually. So now where is my coda? Main app, here it is. Okay, just to show you login module, here is the login module. I'm using Ajax call. I'm posting an API which is exposed. It's a REST API exposed by loopback framework. IBM has a loopback framework, which is a framework with Node.js. I'm using that loopback framework with Node.js for authorization control. It does me an automatic API for login, and this login generates a token, guys. It creates a token, login token, and using that token, I can authenticate the user. So only the users who have that token, valid token, can create, update, read data from my application. Very, very secure way of programming. It's not like, simple authentication where database table mein I put it. I'm using token based authentication. This whole thing is provided by IBM Loopback framework. कैसे सीखा? खुद से सीखा. कहाँ से सीखा? YouTube से सीखा. Go to YouTube, search for Loopback framework. I learn a lot, guys. It's not like Anubhav is perfect. I am Anubhav because I learn a lot. Search for loopback framework, loopback tutorials. You see loopback tutorials. This is the tutorial I've used to learn loopback framework to build my application. This is the tutorial I've used to learn loopback framework with Node.js. This one, build your own application. So lots of free material. कहीं जाने का जरूरत ही नहीं है. But yes, I am a very slow learner, but एक बार सीख जाता हूँ तो भूलता नहीं हूँ मैं उस चीज को, because I practice so hard, 4 hours every day. My sitting hours is about 18 hours. Out of that, I try to maximize my time for learning. Maximize my time for learning. I don't waste a single minute in a day. I don't waste a single minute in a day. एक मिनट भी वेस्ट नहीं करता हूँ. Every single minute is expensive. Whew. Done for the day, guys. No more further questions. Let's catch up tomorrow. 30 minutes will be given to you tomorrow for all your questions. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.